Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We're starting off our second cycle of 1990, doing that with an album. In this episode, we're talking about Ritual de la Habitual by Jane's Addiction. This is their second studio album following Nothing Shocking from a few years earlier. This is an excellent, just rock album. It's totally solid. Absolutely love this album. I think I actually like it a little bit more than Nothing Shocking. Nothing Shocking is really good, but I think this album, Ritual de la Habitual, is slightly better. It's just, I just feel that it's just a stronger album overall. But got some notes here about it. I'm gonna get this open and we're gonna discuss it. So here we go. So Ritual de la Habitual by Jane's Addiction, first released August 21st, 1990. Again, like I mentioned, second studio album. The band broke up the following year in 1991, and I think they remained broken up for quite a while. They've since have reunited. I actually saw them just a couple years back, the end of 2022. They opened for the Smashing Pumpkins. So I saw that. I have some videos from that show. I think I have Jane Says and Stop. So that's one album from their debut, and then Stop is the opening track off this album. So kind of like one song from like each album. I haven't really uploaded any new concert footage just because last year I ended up actually getting a copyright strike from Bryan Adams for some of the stuff that I uploaded from the show I saw with him and Joan Jett. So kind of hesitating to upload any new concert footage, but that Jane's Addiction footage is still up there, so there'll be a link in the description to check out those. I think I only have like 2 videos from that show. But back to the notes here. So it went double platinum, selling about 2 million copies, or at least 2 million copies. I don't know what the actual like numbers are currently, but according to the research, it's around 2 million. And in that research, it said it sold 500,000 copies within its first month of release. So I think 500,000 for, at least for the U.S., for the RIAA is considered gold, I believe. So gold within a month, and then overall double platinum. The album apparently is divided into 2 halves. So tracks 1 to 5 are just rock tracks, rock songs that are somewhat, or I think pretty much just unrelated. They're just solid rock songs. While tracks 6 through 9, according to this research, are in memory of Perry Farrell's girlfriend, and I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly, Ziola Blue, so Xiola, Ziola Blue, who passed away in 1987. There's also, just gotta get the quote from Dave Navarro here. Then she said, chronicles Perry Farrell's mother's suicide when he was 4, and then Dave Navarro had mentioned something as well about his mother was also murdered when he was a teenager. And Dave Navarro says, I have memories of us being on stage together, and before we played, then she did. Perry would grab me and say, let's do this for our moms. And then kind of like he noted that that kind of trauma and pain kind of like bonded them together as a band. There were apparently, let me see if that's where I'm at in the notes here. There were a lot of tensions apparently, like around during when this album was recorded. Like I guess that is kind of obvious when the band breaks up, probably like a year after it came out. But according to a video I saw, the band was rarely together for a lot of the recordings in the studio. So like it may have been like just like maybe Perry Farrell's in the studio one day just doing his vocals while Eric Avery is like the next day comes in, just does bass. I think it said there was only one time in this video I saw where 3 days, which is just this 10-minute long amazing track, that's apparently the only time when the entire band was in the studio together at the same time was for that one particular track. And apparently I think that's what that track is kind of what inspired the album cover. I've actually pointing that. Don't know why I'm pointing in the right direction by flipping it that way. I ended up having to censor the image because of the nudity on the album. Didn't want to get into any kind of trouble with that. They also did release the album with just a straight up like black and white cover. I think it has like the First Amendment on there, talking about like freedom of speech and all that. but that was so record stores would actually carry the album. Some record stores straight up refused to carry the album in the way it was kind of originally presented. I might be jumping around in my notes here. Let me see where I'm at. Oh yeah, so yeah, we're on the thing about the controversial cover. And in one video I saw, it said that like some stores would they were just worried about carrying the album at all, just due to like various like obscenity laws and things like that. I think Warner Brothers, like I think one store in Michigan maybe got in trouble for carrying it, and Warner Brothers actually paid for whatever like legal fees they were going to have, and that's when they went with that kind of generic black and white cover, was just so like people could actually buy the album. Apparently, though, according to that same video I saw earlier, it was saying that the original cover, which is the one I've put over here and have had the censor, has sold more than the generic cover. And like the cover, like even though it has nudity, the cover it's an amazing cover. It's definitely like a very iconic music album cover. So we can talk about the cover. Let's see here. Yeah, source can get legally trouble for it. Critically acclaimed. Let me bring up some actual like little review scores for the album here. I'm just gonna read a few of these off. So looks like AllMusic gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Chicago Tribune gave it a 3 out of 4. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A minus. The LA Times looks like 3.5 out of 5. NME gave it a 9 out of 10. Philadelphia Inquirer gave it a 4 out of 4. Q gave it a 4 out of 5. Rolling Stone, kind of being the weird one here, gave it a 2 out of 5. Yet the Rolling Stone Album Guide gives it a 4 out of 5. And then Select gave it a 5 out of 5. Rolling Stone, I don't know, it's probably like the Album Guide is a completely different thing, I think. But I think it got like a 2-star review at first. And I kind of get it. Like sometimes like an album, like I think this album is amazing, so like I would rate it higher than they did. But I know sometimes like an album, like right away, it doesn't click right away. Like there's some albums where like it might take a few listens for you to actually like appreciate it, or maybe even in some cases, like you hear it once or twice when it comes out, and you don't listen to it for several years, and then at like several years later, you're like, oh, this album is actually amazing. That's why I think the kind of like the rating disparity between Rolling Stone and the Rolling Stone Album Guide, like Rolling Stone giving it a 2, and then the Album Guide giving it a 2 out of 5. Or was it a 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 4? Let me actually pop that back up. The Rolling Stone uses 5, so 2 out of 5 from them initially, and then a 4 out of 5 with the Album Guide, which was probably like later on. Like I said, sometimes an album just doesn't click right away. I've had that happen before. I can't really think of like a lot of times, like a lot of like cheesy pop music, like when it comes out, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cheesy, but then like like years later, I'm like, I find a greater appreciation for it. I would say like the Spice Girls albums are kind of like that. Like initially, I thought it was kind of silly, but years later, if you look back at it and like listen to it, it's actually like really good. So I think that may be what happened with the Rolling Stone review. Eric Avery and Perry Farrell basically jumping into a different point in this the notes here. Formed Jane's Addiction were like basically the two like main members. Eric Avery, I mostly know. I've only seen him live once with Jane's Addiction, but I've seen him live with Garbage. I want to say like I've seen Garbage 8 times, and I think I've seen him. He's been their bassist for a long time. So like I saw him live with Garbage like 7 times. Like let me see, 2012, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. I think 2022 is the last time he was with them, as he rejoined Jane's Addiction shortly after that. So the most recent Garbage concert, he wasn't at that. He wasn't there. I think they got their original bassist. And Perry Farrell just seems like kind of like a weird guy, but like also just like super chill, and like he all like when he's talking, just doing the interstitial bits at like a show, he just seems like super relaxed and super, like I said, just super chill. So definitely like really like his singing. His songwriting is also really good. We're gonna get here into the track listing. We just pull that up here. So track listing, the length of the album is about 51 minutes. Well, 51 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's 9 tracks. Track 1 is Stop. Stop is awesome. It's one of my favorite songs from them. One of the best songs on the album as well. And this was, I didn't listen to this album like right when it came out in 1990. The first time I actually like listened to this was probably after Guitar Hero 2 came out because Stop was featured on that song or on that game. And I remember it just having like ridiculous chord changes. It was one of the more difficult songs to play. It's probably just because Dave Navarro is just actually like an amazing guitarist, and it was quite a difficult track to play in that game. But one of the like this song is just amazing. So it's a great way to start the album. Track 1 is Stop. Track 2 is No One's Leaving. Track 3 is Ain't No Right. Track 4 is Obvious. Really like that one. Track 5 is Big Caught Stealing, and that's kind of like you've got like the guy like creaking around and the dogs barking. It's one of the best like intros to a song I can think of. It's like as soon as you hear like the guy sneaking around and those dogs barking, you know you're listening to Big Caught Stealing. And the music video for that is also just like super weird and like super amazing, like super creative. Like it's an amazing music video. If you haven't seen the music video for Big Caught Stealing, I would check it out. Be forewarned though, it's super weird. Track 6 is 3 Days. This is the kind of like the longest track on the album by far. This is like a almost 11-minute long track. It's 10 minutes and 48 seconds. But track 6 is 3 Days. And 3 Days, basically, like I said earlier, kind of is, I think, pretty much inspired the cover of the album. Track 7 is Then She Did. Track 8 is Of Course. And closing it out, track 9 is Classic Girl. So, and then the personnel on this album, basically just a 4-person group, essentially. Perry Farrell doing lead vocals, Dave Navarro on guitar, Eric Avery on bass, and Stephen Perkins on drums. I remember, I think the first time I heard of Dave Navarro, like at least by name, was probably in 1995 because he had joined the Red Hot Chili Peppers briefly, and I think he was on One Hot Minute. Don't know if he was on the album after that, but One Hot Minute I think was the first album that he was on with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Unfortunately, that One Hot Minute, I own it. I bought it when it came out. Thought it was okay at the time. It's probably like one of the Red Hot Chili Peppers' weaker albums. Like Aeroplane and My Friends are probably like some of the better tracks on there, but kind of an overall weak entry. But that was the first time I had heard of at least Dave Navarro by name, was when he was with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I think that is going to kind of wrap it up for this video. This is just an amazing album. Listened to it just a couple times recently. Like listened to it like a long time ago, a long time after Guitar Hero 2 came out, and more recently listened to it a couple more times, and it still holds up. It's still awesome, and it's a blast of an album. Again, I'll leave a link in the description where you can check out some of those concert videos from when they opened for the Red Hot Chili Peppers back a couple years back. But that is going to do it for this video. We're in our second cycle now, starting our second cycle for the series. So next episode will be a movie from 1990. Don't know exactly what that's going to be just yet, but we'll have that. And then we'll be doing a video game. And then we'll be starting our going into 1991. And then, like we did with the rest of the series, all the way through the rest of the decade. But that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.